95.7 FM. BOB 95.7 FM. BOB 95.7 FM.
To our wonderful and cherished listeners of VOV Radio 95.7. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is finally in the studio, and it's a hooray for us.
I like the finally. We have to apologize. You know, when I get up, so many people always on my shoulder. So this is the reason. But thank you very much for having me.
How easy lies the head towards the crown.
Absolutely.
Mr. President,
yeah.
We wish to welcome you to our beloved Volta region. We are glad to have you here, and we are your hosts. I'm George Dogbe. By record, everybody calls me Paperman, and this is my Paperman.
Paperman.
Yes, Mr. President. And my sister here, my co-host, is Yasapoma.
Oh.
We are the anchors.
Afuakwa.
Puakwa.
Akwemufie.
Yes, sir.
And find yourself in Hohoi.
Yes, we are brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So
yes.
we are your anchors through which you'll be sending your heartfelt messages to borrow your popular phrase, your fellow Ghanaians. So Wezon.
Yo. Thank you.
Away Bonadawoge.
Yo.
To wait. You are the one coming to do great works for us. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I'll hand over to my co-host, Yasapoman.
Thank you so much, and warm welcome again, Mr. President, into the 2H city, as we call here, Hohoi. And as tradition would demand, we've been excited. I've been very excited, and to tell you, I've actually not slept. I've been waiting to see you. I've been waiting to see you. So excited to have you. But I want to find out, Mr. President, I mean, I've heard you go around the country. Why Hohoi? Why are you here in Hohoi and the Volta region specifically?
That's a good question. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity through your agency to be able to speak to the people of Hohoe and to the people of the Volta region. I'm assuming this goes a long way in this region, not just here in Hohoe,
Yes,
but
sir.
the opportunity to do so. Two main reasons why I'm here. First, I want to continue the tradition that I began during my first term, that every year I'll find space on my calendar to visit the various regions of the country. It benefited me a lot the first term because it enabled me in real time to see how government developments, projects, initiatives were playing out, and also to hear the concerns of people in real time about what was going on, so that if there are changes and amendments, modifications to the government's programs, it can be made also in real time. So that is what happened. As I said, it benefited me a lot. So I've started again. I came into office in January, and already I think this is about the 10th region that I have visited this year. And the second is to thank the people of the Volta region for such a vote as we got. The Volta region continues to be a big problem for our party in terms of our connection. You've heard me talking about marrying the region.
Yes.
I'm a very persistent tutor. Everybody who knows me will tell you that when I set myself on a particular target, unless it's gone, I don't give up. So, but in the process, it gives me the opportunity to say a very big thank you to the people of Hohoe, because they've done something very dramatic. I didn't win the presidential vote here, but my candidate won, the party candidate won the parliamentary seat. And it's a big, big breakthrough for us, for our party in the Volta region. It is true. Those who are familiar with history will tell you that a long time ago, in the early years of our independence, the years of CPP, UP, Hohoe was a UP stronghold. In fact, the very famous political figure, S.G. Anto, was a native, an indigene of Hohoe, who was a very close friend of Dr. Dankwa and Dr. Buzias. They all worked together. So, if you like, what we have done is to recapture our history, but it's a very important breakthrough for us. We have not so far had any seat. The seat that we had in the Volta region was in what is now Oti, in Kwanta, but not in, if you like, the Volta properly so called. So this is a very important bridgehead that we have now been given by the people of Hohoe to expand our influence in the area. And on top of it, thanking the people of Hohoe for the seat. Also to thank them for this very dynamic personality who's your MP. He's one of the hardest working members of my government and a major contributor to the deliberations of our government and the work that we're doing. So I'm thanking you for both for giving us the seat and also for the individual that you have sent into my government and who's representing you both in the parliament and in the government very, 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 very effectively. So my prayer is that you continue to walk by his side, give him as much assistance as you can so that the work that he has to do for you can become real. And I know he has a lot of things up his sleeve. Already you have seen a lot of the work that he has been doing in Hohoe. But that's just the thin end of the wedge. There's much more to come. And if you continue to stand firmly behind him, I have no doubt that you will see a very, very soon a very bright future for you in this famous town.
Okay, so before
these are the reasons why I came.
Okay, sir. Yeah, before I go to my next question, you did say as about almost a year you were here before the elections and you were hopeful, and like you're saying, as a suitor, was it surprising that eventually your party on the ticket of Honorable Amewu got to get the seats for Hohoi? Was it very surprising? And how was it going to help his marriage? Personally, was it? And suitors are hopeful that you get yes, right. But for a long time
we hadn't.
Yes, we hadn't. Was
I'm
it
not
very
sure whether surprising is, because I think we had a good idea that this time around we had the genuine hope of success. In obviously, when the news came, it was very, very pleasant news. But I don't think that. I mean, surprise seemed as if you weren't expecting it. You were taken back by it. I don't think that is a position. I think many of us, myself included, felt that we had a very good chance of winning Hohoi. So when the news came, it confirmed there were one or two other places like Kitu North, etc., where we also thought we had a very good chance of winning. But certainly, Hohoi, there was an expectation that the Honorable Peter Amewu would be able to go through for us.
Okay, sir. Mr. President, moving on, COVID has come with its challenges, and it's not peculiar to Ghana alone, it's the world over. But we are hearing the former president saying that the difficulties that Ghanaians are having may not just be the ripple effect of COVID, but not your government as a leader being able to properly manage the economy. What do you have to say to that, Mr. President?
I don't know. I wonder whether the statement was made tongue-in-cheek by the former president. I'm astonished that when you look at the records, that this political leader can accuse my government of mismanagement. I mean, there are a few facts that when you put on the table to compare his performance in office and mine, will tell you that if what I'm offering people is economic mismanagement, I wonder what words should we describe his stewardship of Ghana? And a mitigated disaster. I mean, that's how I would call it. And there's some few facts. When he left office in 2016, the rate of growth of our national economy was 3.4%, the lowest in 24 years at the time, the lowest. The very next year, the economy rebounded to 7%. I think it was 8-point-something% the very first year. And from then until the COVID, we averaged 7% rate of GDP growth. Inflation, when he left office, was at 15.4%. Today, at the end of July, which are the last hard facts from the Statistical Service, is 9%. Interest rates, always a good determinant of how the economy is operating, 32% in December 2016. Today it's at 20.6%. You're talking about Treasury bill decline in interest rates. You're talking about the trade deficit that was 1.8 billion United States dollars in 2016 to a trade surplus of 2.6 billion at the end of 2019. I mean, the facts, you can multiply the facts and the comparison. So if these statistics, which pointed to an economy that was working and was considered at the time, I think we were all here, as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, not just in Africa, but in the world, at an average 7% GDP growth rate, can be considered economic mismanagement, then the economic policies of the government that took us into the embrace of the IMF, and even after the embrace of the IMF, left our economy in the disarray that it did in 2016. And I have no doubt that disarray contributed significantly to the decision of the Ghanaian people to entrust the government to us in the NPP and into my hands. I don't know, but I will leave it to the people. I'll leave it to the people of Ghana to decide. It's if I may just add, it's like also the comment that I've heard from him that the challenges in the country are such that we should have some sort of a national, collogue or economic forum. If the National Economic Forum is going to be a repetition of the so-called Senchi consensus, then I think I have to spare the people of Ghana this sort of development. The Senchi consensus was an unmitigated disaster. Out of it, we went into the embrace of the IMF with all the difficulties that came from that and the disarray that it pointed to in the economy of our country. At the end of the day, the IMF program that the Mahama government took us into, they could not exit it. We had to come and complete the work of exiting it. It had been our hope that by the time we came, the program would be over so that we would be able to develop our own program. In fact, we took a year and a bit to bring the program, I think in almost 2 years. Yes, in 2019, before we could bring the program to a conclusion. And even with the IMF program, these are the statistics that the Mahama government led the people of Ghana. For me, I would think that comments from the former president on the economy, he should be a little bit wary, careful. He's not on strong ground when he's talking about the economy. His track record, I don't know, I'm reluctant to use these strong words, but in normal parlance, I would say it was abysmal. and therefore, he has no lessons to give me at all about the management of the economy.
Mr. President, I am assuming that your marriage or your chasing or your wooing of the Volta region, I want to assume that by now you've bypassed the knocking stage.
Well, if Hoho is an indication, then yes. we will say that we'll take Hoho to be the knocking stage.
So you've bypassed the knocking stage. So my eyes will be on you to see whether you eventually bring the ring for the engagement to take place.
Well, we'll do that. We'll do that.
I want to also premise my next question on your own ever proverb that you used in one of your sessional addresses in Parliament in your first term. You said, "Nuvevela vevezeme o Daniele."
Right.
I hope you remember that.
I do remember very, very well. Important things are cooked in important pots.
Exactly.
Yes, I remember that vividly. I thought it was a very expressive expression.
I'm grateful.
I have a beautiful language. My biggest regret in my life is that I've not been able to speak it. Really, it's a beautiful sounding language, and I nearly did, because in the early period before I originally got married, I had a very close association with somebody from the area.
But
it's not too late, Mr. President.
Oh, really?
You are very good with languages. I don't think it's too late.
Not the close association. I mean, the language. I always say it's not too late with the close association. Rebecca Akufo-Addo is listening to me.
No, with the languages. With the language.
Mr. President, you are a polyglot, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Will the Volta region continue to receive its fair share of development in this second term?
For sure. The first term tells you about the way in which I look at our national development. I don't think that the Volta region can claim that in my first term it was in any way deprived of its fair share of the national cake. And we didn't have in fact, the newly constituted Volta region, we're in a better position in it today than we were in the old Volta region. So, if in the old Volta region we ensure that the national cake was evenly distributed, it's a constitutional requirement. Look at the directive principles of state policy, and it says that the executive, the president, is enjoined to ensure the equitable distribution of the national cake. It's not just a political wish or desire or a matter of political morality. It's a constitutional obligation. And I have absolutely no hesitation in saying yes, the Volta, like every region in the country, that every region in the country gets its fair share of the national cake is a fundamental premise on which I'm governing this country.
Okay, Mr. President, I don't want to preempt your developmental project. But the people of Hohoe have one concern. We have outstripped our water supply, looking at the population from years back and what it is now. So we want to find out from you what your government commitment is into the water projects for Hohoe here, spanning through Ando, Choko, through Afaja, to right through.
This is a
Hohoe
very
here.
important question.
Yeah.
It's a very important question, and it's a good one because there are active plans right now as I speak to find the money to connect Ando, which is the source of the water in this whole area, to Hohoe and its catchment areas. The Ministry of Finance is actively looking for the money, and I believe any time from now we will hear a positive announcement that the money has been obtained, so that the work of laying the pipes and making the connection can begin. It's a high priority for our government. And as you can imagine, I don't say this in a discriminatory manner, but because of what has happened here in Hohoe, Hohoe features very high in all the discussions of this government. So the water, and we have a commitment to make sure that everybody in Ghana has access to potable water. We talk about water for all. And definitely something has to be done, and soon, about the water situation here in Hohoe. But it is being done. The plans are very much on the way, and I believe that very, very soon you'll hear some good news.
Indeed, we really want to hear some good news because during campaign, I particularly love the song that was done for Honorable Peter Mewu, that do something for Johnny to do something for you.
Wow.
Exactly.
What was the song?
Johnny now.
So we have done something for Johnny.
Johnny will not disappoint you.
Indeed.
Johnny will not disappoint you.
Yes.
And the issue of water for Hohoe is a very serious one, and it is being addressed in a very serious manner.
Thank you so much. We'll be expecting that. We know that you have a lot of rounds to do from here, so we're not going to keep you here too long.
Thank you.
But in conclusion, we're asking you, Mr. President, what legacy would you bequeath the people of Hohoe, the Volta region, in this term of office, even as we look forward to you continuing all the good works that you will be doing?
I think that the legacy, we talk about legacy, I don't have a regional legacy, yes, but more importantly for me is the national legacy, which will affect all the parts of the country. I think that the legacy I'm looking at is in two parts. One, strengthening of our system of governance. I think that the opportunity is there to further entrench democratic government and good governance in our body politic, and I would like to be associated with this process of strengthening and entrenching democracy in Ghana, and at the same time the accelerated economic development that we're all looking forward to, that will create an economy of opportunities, an economy which generates jobs, will also have been something that will have been heightened in my period, and that people will see that in my period the policies that were put together enable this process of rapid development to take place. I think if those two things can be brought together as part of my legacy, in my view, it would mean a lot to me. It would also have meant that hopefully the people of Ghana would have been justified in the decision they made, both in December 2016 and in December 2020, to entrust the affairs of this country into my hands. So, and of course, asking for the unity of the nation. Yeah, we are one and are working in a concerted manner for the same goals. Our chances of success are all the greater. And I would like to end up by saying again that as far as the Volta region is concerned, my wish is for the feeling of confidence to be developed between my party, the NPP, and the people of the Volta region, and for all of these misconceptions and I don't know whether to call them fears or apprehensions to disappear, so that we can work together for the common good of Ghana and of my party. So that would be how I would respond to that. I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to the people of Hohoe and to the people of the Volta region. And I'm hoping that the next time I come back, Elsapama, you'll still be in charge and with Paperman.
Yes.
But Mr. President, Paperman has a burning question on his heart. Your work output defies your age, your energy, your dedication. How do you do it?
Yes, we were discussing this right from last
How do you do it, Mr. President?
I don't. It's the grace of God. It's the grace of God.
Mr. President.
And trying to look after oneself.
Yes, I was going to ask two things we can do. Beside the grades that you do, we can emulate. Because it's amazing.
It's amazing what you do.
Sometimes I look at what you do at my age, I can do half of it. I can't do half of it.
I say it's the grace of God. So thank you very much indeed for having me in your studios.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for being here.
Okay.
Mecca, 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 Mecca.